One of the big requests that have come up again and again over the past few months is that you guys would like to see more behind the scenes into other people's ClickUp accounts. You see a lot from us here at ProcessDriven, but what about other people? How are they running their things? This video is our step towards rectifying that. So we have invited some of our members from inside the membership to share the behind the scenes on one process that's working particularly well for their business. They're going to show us the process, the ClickUp workflow, and let us know what snags they ran into along the way. Today, the ProcessDriven member who has decided to join us in the hot seat is Abby. And well, I'll just let her introduce herself. Hello, and thank you so much for joining me again, Abby. I am so happy to have you here. As you said before we started recording, I'm just really excited to see what you've been able to build out in your ClickUp. Have you teach us some things? I'm hoping to get some inspiration. And before we dive into ClickUp and all the wonderful geekiness, I was wondering if you could introduce yourself to those who have not had the privilege of meeting you yet inside the membership.
Thank you for having me today. My name is Abby. I am a virtual assistant. I'm located in Tenerife in the Canary Islands off the coast of West Africa. So it's mostly hot here all the time. I have a few clients. They've all been word of mouth. So I haven't got a website or haven't done anything to my Facebook page since I started because I'm completely full. I can't take on anymore. So it's enough just wrangling the ones that I have. And ClickUp because I have a major FOMO. And when I saw Layla on YouTube, I was like, oh, well, I need to get into this girl's stratosphere. She's amazing. Like, let me into ClickUp now. Yeah.
Oh, well, we're so happy to have you inside the membership. I think Clicking Up is what it is because of people like you who are bringing that energy and are genuinely invested in helping other people go through this journey. Because it sounds like with you and your husband, you're the process person and there tends to be one or two in each group. And then you're kind of just on your own fighting the chaos. I picture a little sword.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, it's one of the best things about the Clicking Up community is the community. Everybody's so giving. I've never been in a community that is so selfless and just so giving. And you know that if you post a rant or something like that, nobody's going to go, oh God, look at her. They're going to go, gosh, I relate. Diane, the same thing too. And you're like, oh, I'm not alone. So it's great. I absolutely love it. So if I can do anything to help, even if it's just to see, this is definitely how I don't want to do it when I set up my system, then I'm happy to be the example as long as somebody's happy to learn from my mistakes.
Now, as you can imagine from that clip, Abby has so many different things she could share with us, some lessons learned that might help you in your journey. But because we have only limited time here on YouTube, we're going to be focusing on just one clip of the discussion. So we're going to be talking about how Abby uses the email from ClickUp feature to make the CRM really flow. Now, just to set the scene, in Abby's workspace, each task equals a customer or a client that she's working with on behalf of her client. So each task equals a person. She's also using a drop-down field on the right side in lieu of a status. And if you don't know why she's doing that, watch this video here. But she's using that drop-down to organize the different steps in the customer journey. I think the rest of this is pretty self-explanatory, but if you have any questions as you're going through, just drop them in the comments below. For now, though, let's just play that clip.
So I really only use the top bit, which is they're a new inquiry. We send them to an application. When they've filled out the application, it comes back to us and I schedule an appointment for them. Then I offer them a slot, and if they make an appointment, then they talk to the coach, and then the coach will ask me to send them a PDF of her services. And then generally, they then get moved over to the client process.
Oh, but see, that's what I really like about this. And I'm going to just ask you, I assume the answer is no, but I'm going to ask because a lot of people think you have to have a CRM and it has to have tons of automations. It has to shoot out emails and sync with this. Do you have many automations like third party, anything in here, or is this manual and working well?
It is manual. It is working well. However, I have taken advantage of your Integromat link, and I will be slowly integrating Integromat to do things like when it's added to this board, then it will shoot them the automatic email. Because when I send somebody something, for example, if I was going to do this, then I would click email and then fill out an application. The good thing about I like about the templates in ClickUp is you can call it whatever you want, but that isn't the subject line, because in Google Mail, you have to call it what the subject line is. And sometimes I just can't find, is that the is it this one, or is this one? You can say, just fill out an application, but it will actually say, thank you for your interest, and it has all the links. So I would like to automate that process so that when somebody fills in that form, it then comes in inquiry, and that email is automatically shot off to them. But I'm not far into Integromat yet to do that. And for the moment, it's only me. So this system works well.
Well, I'm going to ask you what I'm sure other people are thinking watching this. But Abby, shouldn't I be automating everything right away? Why are you waiting? Why not just do all the automations on day one?
I think it's because as well, until you've worked with a system like on a daily basis, you don't know what you need to be automated or what. I did start to automate things, and then people were receiving emails before I'd even had a chance to get my head together. And I was like, oh no, I haven't got availability for them. Don't book an appointment then. And so if it's just you and you're the one that knows what you're doing, then unless you're automating to save time, which is my goal, obviously, then there are downfalls to have things automated if things are firing off quicker than you can keep up with them. At the moment, we want to select who actually goes to those applications. So we don't want all sundry to be sent an application link. So at the moment, I'm not automating that part until I'm a little bit further in. So yeah,
I think that's a great point. And especially things that involve a decision, right? Sometimes it's hard to know. Sometimes you make the decision and it's not the same every time because there's all these little factors that come up. And until you really know what's going into your decision of whether to move them forward, you can't automate that. It'd be very hard.
Exactly. Yeah. I had somebody the other day, like when you go to a scholarship, do you do scholarship?
Yes.
So that I definitely would have been in the wrong realm if I'd have sent them an automatic saying, yes, schedule an appointment here. My client would have gone, what are you doing? We don't do scholarships. But yeah, at the moment, it's all manual.
Yeah. And I think we say it's all manual and sometimes people view that as a negative, but I want to just emphasize for everyone watching this, what Abby's built here is working and it's ready to grow with her and her client. And I think that's really what this is about. We need to stop thinking about automations and having everything be hands off as the goal. That's not always the best outcome. Like you talked about with scholarships or, sometimes you want that human touch. That is sometimes important to a process. See what I mean by Abby having so much to share? Oh my gosh, there are lessons learned that she has shared throughout this whole interview, let alone just the clip that you saw, that could help anyone regardless of where they're at on their ClickUp journey. So I just want to wrap this up here with a giant thank you to Abby, which actually we already said, so let's just jump to that part. Well, I so appreciate, I love seeing how this is being applied, and it is a lot. And I don't think, just like with ClickUp, you don't need all the bells and whistles to get value, right? It can be that one thing that pushes it over the edge.
When I did I'm only in point 3 of the course yet, because I thought that I could skip over the org chart because as a VA, I'm like, well, it's only me, so I'm doing all the things. So instead of doing that, I used it to apply to my client. And so that I was then as her VA, I was able to say, these are all the processes that she has for her business. And that allowed me to pare down my processes in ClickUp for the clients, the inquiries and stuff like that, knowing where on the org chart that they fell. But because I was a solopreneur, because I was a VA, I was like, well, I can set that part because that doesn't apply to me. But then you can't build out the rest of your processes until you've done that. So it was hard and it was horrible. it is to do the org chart. It's so valuable. It's so valuable to do it. You can literally cut the rest of the course unless you do that. So it's you might be able to scrape by, but you won't get as much value out of it unless you do that part. So I encourage everybody to do that, no matter how painful it is. It's worth it in the end.
I appreciate that cheerleading, because I think a lot of folks think this like, oh, that's nice. I don't need an org chart, but it's a process org chart. It is.
Exactly. And that, again, that is the most valuable part about clicking up, is it's not just about clicking up, it's about processes and how you all the thinking behind it. It's just, I honestly cannot rave enough about it. I'm just world's number one fan.
Well, thank you. I think the feeling is mutual. Once we found out that Abi ran a bar and she's doing all these other things, Abby's just one of our coolest members.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And I'll just wrap up and say thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us on here. This recording, as you know, will be shared amongst the interwebs and with our members here. And if anyone has questions, especially a member, would it be okay if they started a conversation in the community to ask you some more about this?
Yes, absolutely. If they've got any tips for you shouldn't be doing this, or here's any Integromat people who can say, I know how you can automate that to do that for you, then I'm up for it. Yeah, any tips or tricks that I can either receive or give out, I'm happy to, because the community has given so much to me.
Well, you guys know how I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching. And until we talk next, enjoy the process.